as well. As you just heard, the big boy Sky, Erik Moses, Executive Director and CEO of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, joins us now on the Right to It guest line here on Fox Sports 910. Erik, another busy week for the Fiesta Bowl. Wishes for teachers, draft day. Let's start with that. That was a very busy week for you.
Man, it was so fantastic to be part of that draft day and to be able to call teachers and surprise them, letting them know that they were the winner of $2,500 grant to help their students and help their classrooms be better prepared for those students to learn. There is nothing that warms your heart more than hearing a teacher cry out of joy for what she's going to be able to do, she or he is going to be able to do for their students.
Yeah, I got to commend you. My one sister, she taught for over 25 years in the Mesa School District. My other sister, Darlene, she continues to teach in the Mesa School District. I cannot tell you how far that goes because so many of these teachers, as you know, Erik, come out of pocket for their classrooms, for helping kids that are underprivileged. I can go on and on and on. So kudos to you in the Fiesta Bowl because that was absolutely amazing. I saw that last night. I believe it was on Channel 12. Saw you guys doing that draft. And for all the teachers out there, I can speak volumes. They wholeheartedly appreciate what you guys are doing.
Well, look, thank you for saying so. It feels in some ways like a drop in the bucket. I mean, we granted 500 wishes at $2,500 each. So that's $1.25 million this year to 500 teachers representing 72 cities and towns across the state, and impacting more than 220,000 young people and students. But we know there's so much more that can be done. We don't want teachers to have to reach into their own pockets in order to provide supplies and resources for their kids. So we're going to keep pushing along, man. And so thank you to all of to Palo Verde, to SRP, to all of the other folks who are supporters of ours and supporters of this initiative, because it does make a difference. Whether or not it cures the whole problem, that's not what we're in it for. We're here to let the teachers know that they're recognized, they're appreciated, and we're going to do what we can to continue to support them.
Erik Moses here on Fox Sports 910. Let's stay with the schools, and tonight being the final night of the Friday Night Showdown, which is presented by Superstar Car Wash. This was a great undertaking, which has been a huge success, Erik. A lot of people are talking about it throughout the market. What is it what do you like about the most? What's the most rewarding part about this on Friday nights?
I think it's bringing the spotlight to these student athletes, these high school students. I mean, the passion around sports usually starts at that age. And I think we need to make certain that these young people know that the sweat, the hard work in the classroom, on the practice field, et cetera, and then out there on the field of competition is appreciated by not just their parents and classmates and others, but by most of us here in the Valley and across the state. And so I'm just really happy we're able to highlight them in ways that hopefully make them feel seen and heard and more appreciated.
All right, let's talk some college football. This week, the first CFP rankings of the season came out. Was there anything that kind of stood out in your mind as you looked at this early ranking?
Yeah, I think the Florida State, Washington, ranking Florida State at 4 and Washington just outside of the playoff at 5, I thought was interesting. As an ACC guy, as we've talked about, I'm happy to see a representative of the ACC. But Washington looks strong to me, and I think the notion that their last couple games have not been all that great probably hurt them. But as you guys know, what we see in that first ranking never ends up being the actual one-for-one ranking at the end of the season when we actually determine who's in the playoffs. So there'll be some movement, and it'll be interesting to see what that is.
All right, with that being said, because it's important for those that are familiar with the bowl or not familiar with the bowl, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl will get the highest ranked Group 5 team, correct? Is that accurate, most likely?
So it's possible,
okay,
right? So it'll either be us or the Peach Bowl, depending on the geography of that highest ranked Group of 5 team. And so right now, the only two in the top 25 are Tulane at 24 and Air Force at 25. And so you have to imagine if Tulane ended up the season being the highest ranking Group of 5 team, they'd go to the Peach Bowl. And if Air Force ends up being that highest ranked Group of 5 team, they'd come to the Fiesta Bowl.
And I think more importantly, we talk about these games, this is all going to wash itself out anyway, Erik, to your point. Hey, this is just the first week, because I know there's a lot of Oklahoma Boomer Sooner fans aching right now, and they beat Texas, and they see Texas 2 spots ahead of them at least for right now.
Yeah, I think so too. And it hurts even more when it's your rival, right?
Yes.
Who you beat head to head, and they're higher in the rankings. But I think that probably has more to do with strength of schedule. Yeah. Texas has a better signature win in beating Alabama down in Tuscaloosa than I think Oklahoma has on its resume thus far.
When you see the discrepancies with the coaches poll and the AP versus the college football playoff poll, and I know they beat it up, every which way to Saturday. It's just interesting to me that the top 5 are somewhat the top 5, but they're just rearranged differently.
Yeah, having gone through that process, the mock selection process with the CFP, I have every confidence in the way that they come about figuring out those rankings. And you've got some of the best football minds in the country there in terms of athletic directors, former coaches, conference commissioners, and even 1 or 2 people from the media. So, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They know these teams inside and out. And I think by the end of the year, we'll all be pretty pleased with where they end up.
Erik Moses here on Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910. As we look ahead to this week, tomorrow, the game of the week for the Fiesta Bowl is Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. It's hard to believe that Kansas took down Oklahoma last week. That was just remarkable. And Oklahoma State, they've been one of the hottest teams in the Big 12 as of late. So this should be a good game.
Can you say Bedlam?
Yes. Bedlam. Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be – I love rivalry games, man, and that's one of the things that I'm hoping that we're able to maintain even as we have this conference realignment and have, these regional rivals moving to different conferences. We got to figure out
3 minutes
how to maintain these rivalry games because it doesn't matter what the records are. When those kinds of teams, Oklahoma State, North Carolina State, those kind of teams get together, you're always going to see a great game. And so I'm looking forward to Bedlam. And there are going to be some other great games this weekend. It's just been such a good season. There's just been so many great games to watch. And Kansas brought it, man. They brought it. They played spoiler, which is always fun to see.
We don't need to talk about Kansas State at Texas.
Why not?
Let's move on to –
Why not?
You don't want to talk about Kansas
Why
State.
not?
Oh, come on. How about Washington and USC? I mean, Washington has been, last few games have been pretty close. The one with Arizona State we know about. And USC, I just can't seem to figure out. But you got to love the 2 quarterback matchups in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we could see, a couple thousand yards of offense in this game if things are going the way they should be. I think this is a pivotal game for Michael Penix. If he wants to claim the Heisman, this is the game I think where he can do it. If he runs up the numbers, has big statistics in a game head-to-head against Caleb Williams, I think he can win the Heisman this week. I also think they, as a squad, need to redeem themselves and show that they are head and shoulders above teams like USC and put up some big numbers against them.
Erik, as always, thanks for the time. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it.
2 minutes.
Thank you, guys.
That's the Executive Director, CEO of the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Erik Moses. You can follow him on his Twitter page, which is Fiesta Bowl CEO. So the first week projections are out with the rankings. What I've seen the most as of late, when you look at the 2 bowls in our backyard with the Guaranteed Rate Bowl on December 26th, Nebraska versus West Virginia, both those 2 schools would travel great. And then Fiesta Bowl, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Air Force versus Oregon, or it could be Tulane and possibly Oregon. And then if you look at the playoff, Michigan, Washington, Georgia, Florida State, and then a winner of those could be, playing in the national championship on January 8th. Coming up next, it's your opportunity to challenge the counselor, Kevin Rowe, for our over-under contest. We do it every week where we give you 3 different over-under games in the NFL and college, and we will get caller 5 at 602-260-9191. That's 602-260-9191.